I think that marketing is one of those things that is, we all know enough to be dangerous and probably to dump a lot of money into it. But to see a return on a dollar is hard. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you are aligned with your business and your brand and your messaging before you go out and you pump money into that machine, so to say.
Elizabeth, I want to shift because as we're talking here, I can't help but thinking that there's going to be folks who are listening to this, maybe in 3 weeks, maybe in 3 years, who are inspired by this. And, maybe it's even a bride or groom or someone who listens and they say, wow, what Elizabeth and Nora are doing here is incredible. I'd love to serve the industry in a similar way. Maybe it's not a booking service like you have, but maybe it's some other thing that brings the industry up to speed technologically. And I think there's tons of room, like you alluded to, in this market to help like this. Let's speak to those people. How do you marry the two industries? Like, what's your mindset on that? How do you think about those questions? You have to kind of lead with your heart and lead with empathy, but then you're melding it into a very kind of black and white data, metrics, statistics, things like that. So what are some of the metrics you look at? What are some of the driving factors that you look at when you're making decisions and you're getting on the forefront of our industry, right? But you're still serving the industry. You're still serving grandma or, whoever else, right?
Yeah. I think that it's so important for people listening today or tomorrow or in a couple of years to just understand, like, where are you spending your time? Like, where is that disconnect and why? I think that it's really easy for us to, as business owners, to, and even with your technology company or a floral shop, you just get into habits and you get into routines of like how to do things. And if it's a time suck, why? Like, why? We have technology at a extremely inexpensive rate right now. I mean, technology's never been cheaper. So why is something a time suck? And how can you change it? Is there technology that exists and you're just not using it? Or is there technology in another industry and it needs to be built for the one that you're in? That's really what we look to. We thought, what are the other 3-party industries? And we noticed a very similar comparison to the construction industry. So we started diving in. General contractors, very similar to wedding planners. So what software are they using? How are they operating, their systems? And that's really where we started to understand, yes, there's technology in other industries. It's just not built for the wedding. So I think that there is so much there's so much undiscovered because we're a creative industry and people are scared to get in technology. And I totally understand it's a huge hurdle. But if you're passionate enough to overhaul your own system because you're wasting so much time, it's likely other people are needing that same system.
That's so powerful. I'm asking this question specifically because in our industry with staffing, there's this divide. Maybe there's 3 camps even, right? There's the staffing companies that are just, they're very, very localized. They don't really do a lot of business outside of maybe a city or a county, and they're very localized and they're small company. Then there's more of a larger boutique company like we were that serve all of Southern California, Palm Springs, LA, Orange County, down to San Diego. And we're a little bit larger. We grew to a little bit larger, but then again, we can't compete on a national level with a company that has a tech platform like an Instawork or a Quick. Or some of these companies. The main differentiator and the thing that we found consistently was there's this breaking point between scaling and the level of care and intentionality and personalization that they're able to bring to the table. And so they're dealing with thousands and tens of thousands of staff. We're dealing with just a few. As you start to scale your company and you start to serve more people and the needs almost get more broad. What's going on in your mind to stay kind of focused on the categories of business that you're serving in a very personal way?
That is so hard. And honestly, it's probably really what keeps us up at night is because we're so passionate about serving the industry and this industry and, wedding planners and businesses. I think that you just have to keep your eye on the focus. So for you guys in staffing, like you've got that dialed in on the wedding industry. I think where a lot of the big companies can get into trouble is they grow and they scale into industries that they're not knowledgeable yet. So they spin their wheels and they dump a ton of marketing dollars and they're growing too wide, and instead I think what we want to do at Rock Paper Coin is grow in depth. How can we continue to serve this industry and maybe in a different means, so like the platform right now at its core is contract and invoicing, but there's so much more that we can offer to these small to medium-sized businesses on the back end to help them streamline, their own businesses. So that's really where we want to focus, is getting deeper in with our customers instead of wider, if that makes sense.
Totally. That makes a lot of sense. When you think about some of these companies, and I'm just speaking about them, you talked about dumping marketing dollars. Do you think spending marketing dollars equals experience in the industry?
No, we have not spent any marketing dollars because, I think what we really want to rely on is our industry experience. And we want to show that we're experts in the industry, and that does not have any correlation to marketing budgets. I think that marketing is one of those things that is, we all know enough to be dangerous and probably to dump a lot of money into it. But to see a return on a dollar is hard. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you are aligned with your business and your brand and your messaging before you go out and you pump money into that machine, so to say.
Totally. How do you keep your ear to the ground with the way that the industry is changing? Because are you still planning events? How does that?
No, we had to hang up our hats on the event planning side, but I think that talking to your customers. So from a business standpoint, we want to talk to all of the businesses registered with Rock Paper Coin, actively using them, stay in touch monthly. What do you like? What do you not like? What we're building, I think, is awesome. But I know that some people are like, I don't like that feature. So those are the ones that are really important for me to hear. Why? Why don't you like it? What should it be? Why isn't it user-friendly? Dig in so hard. And I think that correlates also to businesses serving the industry. Talk to your customers, whether they're current, past, potential. Like, what does your brand say about you? How user-friendly is your website? Really dig in and understand so that you are ingrained in the industry and you can continue serving because you are staying in touch with your customers.
I love that. I love that so much because I think specifically for tech companies, it's very easy to back away and you get higher and higher and higher up in the org chart, right? Yeah. And it grows and it gets wider, like you said. Yeah. And the companies that I love, and I mentioned, one of them, Shift, before. Yeah. The CEO literally reached out to me and said, "Hey, you're a user. Can you like give me some feedback?" And it sounds like that's what.
It's so important. Nora and I, we love working with other businesses on the site. And as we get bigger, we're not doing that as much in the day-to-day, but that's one of the things that we have remained committed to is like, we always want to take the time to reach out and listen and, talk to new businesses that are on the platform, talk to ones that have been with us for now 2 years and never really take our eyes off of that prize, so to say. Like, we have this end goal of serving the industry. And so if we have to stay ingrained in the industry in order to continue to better serve it.